Back here on First Things First, and we are going viral. George Kittle is coming off another amazing season. I love him. Over the past 2 years, he leads all tight ends with 81 receiving yards a game, and we probably should have seen this coming for years because keep your eye on number 32. That is a young Kittle just refusing to be tackled in youth football. I grew up a 49ers fan. This guy, I can't get enough of him.
Stud.
Like the running back he was back then.
I mean, he's a great athlete. Unbelievable athlete.
Wow. Yeah, we should have seen it coming.
Watch and go. Time for stories to start your morning. Heisman Trophy winner Joe Burrow is all but a lock to go #1 overall to the Bengals in April's draft. But the QB isn't exactly thrilled, saying, quote, "If they select me, they select me." Doug, should Burrow pull an Eli Manning and snub the Bengals?
He can, but it won't work. So no. It's the Bengals. The Bengals are not trading a kid from Ohio, okay, whose dad has a relationship with the coach, and they need a quarterback, and they have the #1 overall pick. It's not. The Bengals are not open for trading business. So he can, but it won't work. This is not the Chargers. Okay? This is not the old Baltimore Colts that traded John Elway away because he went and played baseball to the Denver Broncos. This is the Bengals. They operate unlike any other organization in football. And even if they were a different organization, having a home state kid who just won a national championship, you're not trading away the most prized possession in the draft to the Bengals.
Yeah, that's the thing. He's viewed as the savior there, and he knows it. That's why he won't do an Eli Manning. Who wants to be hated in their home state? I think he's a 2.5-hour drive or so from Cincinnati, where he grew up. Also, obviously played at Ohio State. Well, I think what he's doing is he's letting it be known. Letting my feelings be known. The Bengals, I don't want to play for you. Don't draft me, please. Let me go elsewhere. But if they do draft him, and I'm with you, when they do draft him, he'll put on the happy face. I think he'll try to be the leader of that franchise, and then he'll take him from there. I don't think he's going to go too far. But why? I think he's going to make a statement like, I don't want to play for Cincinnati. I just think his demeanor, some comments, some vague remarks will show that he doesn't want to play there.
To your point, I wonder what Dad's saying about all this. On to Tom Brady. The 42-year-old quarterback is set to become a free agent for the first time in his career, but a recent report says Brady isn't interested in a huge free agency tour. Doug, do we expect Brady to be quick with his decision?
I think he needs to be, yes. Look, guys like this, they don't do the tours. Everything works behind the scenes. Things are starting to leak out that the Raiders are offering 2 years, $60 million. I don't think that leaks unless Brady wants it to leak. I think he wants it to leak because he wants to drive up the price in New England. I do think that money might not be the only factor. It's always a factor. But yes, I believe this will be a really quick, take a couple of meetings, probably clandestine meetings, and then make a decision, because it's not just about him. It's about what's going to be around him, what else happens in free agency. He's also got to be fair to the Patriots. If he's going to move on, he's got to tell them so they can go get another quarterback. And then, of course, the way NFL's free agency works, unlike the NBA, the draft is afterwards. So then you kind of set your draft board afterwards. I think it'll be in very short order in the middle of March.
Yeah, I think it will be as well. And I think he'll be back in New England. And I think, look, I would love to see them go out and get an A.J. Green, a Hunter Henry, and I think he feels the same way. The sooner he makes the decision, the better chance they have of making moves like that to build around him. So I'm with you, and I think ultimately he wants to stay, but he wants them to show him some respect. And that respect could come in terms of money, or it could come in terms of you listening to me and going out and improving ourselves at the skilled positions.
It's important for people to realize the idea that you want a Hunter Henry, you want an A.J. Green. It's not like the rest of the league's like, here, take really good players.
The Patriots want him, we're going to move on. Or we're going to move on here to Dak Prescott. The Cowboys QB is coming off the best season of his career and waiting on a contract that could make him the highest paid player in the league. But is he worth the money? According to a report, the deal, quote, will be based on the franchise believing there are even better days ahead. So, Broussard, are you buying that there are even better days ahead for Dak?
Oh, yeah. I'm a big Dak fan. Now, I don't think quarterback in the league. I think he's on his way toward becoming, you know, a guy that's around 6, 7, 8, something like that. Because I think he's got great intangibles. He's not as physically gifted as a Pat Mahomes. He's a winner. Since he started in the league.
No, he's not.
Hold on. Since he's been in the league, he's won more games than any quarterback not named Tom Brady or Russell Wilson. How do you do that in Dallas? Dallas had Tony Romo, for the 6 years before Dak Prescott takes over, they made the playoffs once. He's been there 4 years and made the playoffs twice and beat Russell Wilson in a playoff game. And the 40
He beat him. They went one-on-one. It was Russell Wilson against Dak Prescott.
Well, hold on. We give Tom Brady credit for being the GOAT because he's won 6 championships, not because his numbers are phenomenal.
Hold on.
But I'm just saying,
he's a winner. If he's a winner.
He's not a winner.
If he's a winner, okay, how good was the NFC East this year?
He didn't win it this year. What about the 4 years?
Hold on.
It was terrible. I mean, we all know that.
So the Giants are a disaster. The Redskins are a disaster. Okay, both teams fired their coach. The Eagles had replacement players, basically scabs.
Tell me about why that means Dak's not a winner. We don't have to go through the whole.
Well, but that does matter. Okay.
What about the other 3 years? When 6 games without Ezekiel Elliott, and they went 13-3.
No, when they didn't have Ezekiel Elliott, they didn't win. Before they had Amari Cooper.
But even without Ezekiel Elliott for 6 games, he's won more games than any quarterback not named Russell or Tom. How do you say that's not a winner?
Because they have a really good team, and they had far and away the best roster
without
this year.
Without Amari Cooper, they had a really good team.
No, and they didn't win, and that's why they went and got Amari Cooper.
They did win a lot of games before they got Amari Cooper.
No, they weren't winning.
They went 13-3 when he was a rookie.
Yes, and he barely threw the football. They handed the ball off to Ezekiel Elliott the entire game. Offensive line of football. Their defense was better. When their defense wasn't good, when they didn't have Tyron Smith, if he doesn't, he's Draymond Green. That's who he is. He's Draymond Green. When you put a bunch of dudes around him, all his intangibles.
I wouldn't say he's Draymond Green.
Well, Draymond Green's a Hall of Fame. Probably some people think he's a Hall of Famer.
Draymond Green is great. I hear what you're saying with Draymond, but I think he's better with less talent than Draymond is with less talent.
But he's not.
He didn't have 3.
When they didn't have Amari Cooper, I mean, remember, before they had Amari Cooper, this is going back a year ago, Washington was actually winning the division. And then Washington lost both of their quarterbacks to broken legs. Not just Alex Smith, but also Colt McCoy, and they collapsed. That allowed them to, that propelled them, plus they got Amari Cooper. Look, he's been surrounded. He had the best.
Aaron Rodgers didn't have help the last few years and didn't do much.
Well, this year he did.
But the years before that, that's what I'm saying. Then he gets some help.
He was hurt 2 years ago, and then last year he didn't have help. But look, he's a good quarterback. But the idea that if he's a winner, why didn't they win this year? Explain it to me. Explain. They beat up on the bad teams. They played any of the good teams. They had the #1 offense in football. They couldn't score in New England. They couldn't score in Philadelphia.
You don't see the winning intangibles that he has.
I think he has intangibles.
A leader. The guys around.
You have to have tangibles. You have to be able to. If
he threw for, he was 3rd in the league in QBR.
I got it. Because they beat the Giants twice. Because they beat the Dolphins, the Giants twice. The Cardinals.
If he didn't have tangibles, how does he throw 30 touchdowns?
Why couldn't they score
4th in the league in yards per attempt?
Why couldn't they beat the teams with winning records?
Look, I'm not against you. Like a lot of people saying he had his best year. I don't think he had his best year.
Statistically, he did.
No, I don't think it's one or the other. It's not just statistics. It's not just winning. So, but I'm like, people, when they won, they wanted to kill him because he didn't have these great individual numbers. Now, this year, he had great individual numbers, but they didn't win, and they want to kill him. It's a mixture of both.
Agreed.
And when I look at his 4 years, I see a guy that's getting better, still has those intangibles that show me he can win.
Okay, but my problem is they were 1-6 against teams to the winning record this year.
Horrible year.
If he's a winner, why didn't they win?
Well, was it coaching? I mean, they fired their coach, who was the son to the owner.
Right. Everybody's putting the blame on the coaching, and maybe that's what it is. Okay, maybe that's what it is. See, they're going to keep the same. Kellen Moore is the same offensive coordinator, the same pecking order there, so they're happy with the offense, an offense that was inept against the good teams. Look, I actually agree with the idea that there are better times ahead. Right? I do. I wouldn't sign him to a $35+ million contract. I would say, look, dude, we're going to give you 30. If I have to. The problem with the franchise is it costs dollar for dollar against the cap. Whereas if you get a long-term deal done, you can sneak some money in this year, you can put some money next year, and put some money in the year after, and then you can spread it around, and you have other guys like a Byron Jones you want to re-sign. You got to change that defense. The defense wasn't good enough last year either. But the idea, let's pump our brakes for people who think he's Carson Wentz. He's not. Carson Wentz was going to be the MVP of the league, then he hurt his knee. Carson Wentz this year with a bunch of practice squad guys beat the Cowboys badly.
What did Carson Wentz do last year?
What do you mean? He
2
went to
years
the
ago.
playoffs.
2 years ago.
He's coming off.
They were
he's coming off.
Come
of an
on,
ACL
man.
injury.
Enough excuses for him. I like Carson Wentz physically a lot better than Dak Prescott.
Okay.
But Carson Wentz has not had the success that Dak Prescott had.
What are you talking about? He just did.
Has he won a playoff game? He
No.
got to the playoffs in the weakest division in the league, and you're giving him all this credit.
He had practice squad
When he
guys
had
as wide
talent,
receivers.
they did better with the backup quarterback.
No, they didn't.
Yes, they did.
They were the
won
best
Super
team.
Bowl.
They were the best team in the league, and he got hurt.
They won a Super Bowl.
I know.
What did they do the next year after the Super Bowl?
It was like you've never heard of a Super Bowl hangover. They
didn't look hungover when Nick Foles took over when Carson got hurt.
They still didn't.
What happened then?
Did they make the playoffs?
They built a shrine to his backup. That doesn't mean
Nick
something.
Foles got beat out by Gardner Minshew.
Oh,
Please stop with the Nick Foles is
I'm
a
not
great
saying
quarterback.
Nick Foles is all that. Let's stop with the Carson Wentz has arrived because he had an inspirational month at the end of the season with a bunch of no names, with no pressure on you, nobody believes in you.
Preceded by the fact to be the MVP of the league.
Stop it.
They were the best team. He was going to be the
He got hurt and hasn't been the same since.
No, he got hurt and he hadn't been the same until late last year when he's playing with a bunch of rummies.
Let's see what he's up
And he
with.
was the most.